Hi everyone, welcome to Spiritual World. For those that actually know me, you actually know me as a channeler. Some know me as a past life regression therapist. Now I'm also a Akashic reader. So I'm really excited and really psyched about all the things that I see. Ever since I moved to Vancouver, my energy just went. I'm not saying that if you move to Vancouver, your energy just changes. I'm just saying for me, I think God sent me over here to change my vibration, and to me it was probably one of the best gifts, but also one of the most challenging moving transition I've ever had. It's been very rough, but I'm here right now and I'm very grateful for all the great gift that I have received thus far. And today, we're here to talk about this topic that I really wanted to talk about. It's super interesting. This is the story about a book called Sylvia Browne's Mystical Traveler. See, I got it from the library. Now, I have to talk to you about this story because I think it's super interesting. So I go to the public library, and I'm like, God, tell me what book you want me to read. So I go, and then they told me to pick this up. And I was like, I look at it and I'm like, no. And I just left it. Now, another day I still go and they're like, read this book. And I'm like, I'm not sure. And then they say, bring it home. So I decided to bring it home. And then I still don't open the book. I just leave it there. And then I go on meditation. They're like, read this book. This is for you. And I'm like, okay. So I read. So today I'm here to talk to you about what it is as a mystical traveler. I have to say, this book is so super fascinating. Ever since I took it, I cannot put it down. It's a fascinating book. And today we're going to talk about that. Now, when we talk about mystical traveler, what they are, they're actually beings, advanced souls that are looking for much more spirituality. They want to live a life field and based in spirituality. Most of the time they are on their last life reincarnation. So very often if you go in the street and you talk to people, and sometimes people will tell you, hey, I'm on my last life incarnation. There's quite a bit of those. I've met some of those. And to people that are mystical travelers, they are actually people that want to service God, meaning that they surrender everything under God's will. So if you have heard of Oprah saying a word like, I surrender to God, I am a vessel to God at your service, and I surrender to you. And those are mostly people that are like mystical travelers. They're here to service, the will to service. But now we are going to talk about some of the theories about mystical travelers. In this series, we will have multiple series when it comes to this. And today, I wanted to talk about first part about mystical travelers. Being a mystical travelers is interesting because first there are two levels. So two types. Sorry, it's not two levels, it's two types. So two types of mystical travelers. So if you first look at my board right over here, you will, oopsie doopsie, can you see it? Now you will see the first type of them is actually the pilgrim style. So they're actually the caretaker, the hospice people, and they actually walk behind the scene. They adopt kids that other people don't want and things like that. They're the people that really are here to support other people. They really want to be here to support other people when it comes to life, and a lot of them they're not here for the recognition. They're not really here to, they're just working behind the scene, put it this way. They're just people that enjoy working behind the scene. Now, they're also male and female caretaker. Now there's a second type. The second type of people is the pioneers. Now the pioneers work a bit more differently. They usually work in the public eye. Now when you work in the public eye, they're still working in the spiritual field, right? But they are extremely, they start spiritual movement. Like you see a lot of YouTubers, right? They start spiritual movement, they talk about spirituality, they live in spirituality and things like that. And like you can see, there's also like Victor Otto and there's Aaron Drudy. They're all working in the field. And there's Oprah. There's many people that work in the spiritual field. Like you have the Sylvia Browne and you have like Linda House. A lot. Okay. Now usually they are teachers. They're writers, they're psychic, and they're healers, and they could be taking on different kind of roles, but they're very active. They're very active in serving in this type of field. So they're more in the public eye. They teach and they tell people about spirituality and all kind of form things like that. It's just like Dolores Cannon, she's also very much predominant in that. Now, in order to become a mystical traveler, there are actually 6 level. Ooh, it's hard for you guys to see, right, with the lighting, of becoming. Don't worry, I will actually write it down. So there's actually 6 levels to become a mystical traveler. First, you have to begin to have the sense of awareness and think, ooh, I think this is actually what I want to know more about a higher level of spirituality. So you're like, there's like this little grain, a seed that's like growing inside of your heart, and it's coming out. And then you want, gradually you'll have this thought that, oh, I want to become a mystical traveler, meaning that, oh, I want to serve under God's will. I want to be there of service, and you surrender, right, to God's will. And then after, you're going to receive, some people like to call it a download. Now, sometimes some people will say it's like when you meditate, you get those messages like transcending inside of your pineal gland, and you just know, you have this inner knowing. So you receive knowledge by fusion. I receive a lot of my knowledge by sleep state or meditation. So that's why I very often lucid dream on a constant basis. So I have a lot of sleepless nights. It's crazy. And then after that, you will receive a mantle. It means that think about it like Doctor Strange receiving a mantle, and that mantle is a protection guard. It's a protection guard for you. And then you begin to surrender to the free will of God, and you receive the gifts of God. God will give you the gift, and you'll be there to serve. And then the 5th point is actually you'll begin to activate the gift, meaning that the gift will get activated and you're going to begin to go on where God wants you to go, but you're activating. You're only in the state of activation. So you're still like you're like a baby, like wobbling, like walking through, like still learning the things. And gradually is the 6th point is the graduation point, where you will begin to start your assignment. Meaning that sometimes you're gonna go on assignment, you're gonna, for example, the other day I was just walking to the city hall, and I bumped into a lady that I needed help, and that tiny gesture led to another instance and another instance, and she started to cry in front of me, and she was telling me her life story. And sometimes it's God-led. You're just here to support. And that is the beauty of being a mystical traveler, because you really are under the will of God. It doesn't mean that it's easy. Oh, it's not easy at all. But you should always know that at all point you are under service. You are in full protection of God, because God will protect you. Meaning that you have this mantle on, and then you are fully protected. It doesn't mean that it's easier. No, you still have a lot of challenge, but it'll be much easier. So this is all I wanted to share today when it comes to mystical travelers. There'll be other episodes when it comes to mystical travelers, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.